for coming on. I see some comments below, so put into the comments, in the chat, where you're from so that we can all say hi to you. And I've got a friend of mine. We did a podcast just earlier this week when I reached out to him. I'm super excited to have him on. He's the CMO of a very popular app called Reflectly, which is a journaling app. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but without further ado, Darius, and I'm going to call you M. Darius, welcome.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait.
Sorry, Darius, there's a lag. I need to call. What did you just say?
I said, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to do this.
Cool. Yeah, same here. And you guys leave in the chat. You make sure the audio is good. I'm going to check it as well. We're going to talk about the app audits, and I'm going to try to get to a lot. You guys submitted a ton of different apps. I don't think we're going to get through all of them. So keep submitting them. We'll put them in the queue, and then we'll keep doing this live. As long as you guys keep showing up, I'm going to keep doing this. Thank you guys for showing up and coming to, I'm going to just dig into Eric a little bit. Somebody was talking about, Eric from Overpass Apps. He does a live YouTube stream every Friday at 9 a.m. And you're like, what do I do? Who do I watch? And Zeal said, watch App Masters first, then watch Eric, because you got to watch the best content first. So thank you for putting that in there. What I want to talk about, and Darius, you're going to help me out with this, is before we get into the app audit, is having social proof. And I talk a lot about making sure you have social proof within the key elements of your different app journey. That starts with your App Store presence, with your screenshots or your titles, your subtitles. I know on Google Play, your short description, having some social proof and the more conversion rate optimization type of stuff in that description, rather than maybe keywords or maybe a blend of them, really helps with conversion. We saw a small little 12% increase. And I've heard from others after I shared this tip that they've seen an increase in downloads by having social proof in the short description of Google Play. So having social proof in your App Store presence, having social proof in your onboarding, because remember, people aren't going to remember why they download your app always. They may have just downloaded it, forgot about it, opened it up a week later and be like, what's this app again? And then lastly, the pricing page. So Darius, what do you think? Like, anything you want to add on top of that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely true. We've seen that social proof really helps conversions, and it doesn't matter what vertical you're on, what industry, it just improves across the board. And we've used it really successfully in the App Store description, for example, in the Play Store, onboarding, pricing page, and even down when you're upselling and doing any of the subscriptions, that has really worked really well.
Yeah, I love it. And the ways that if you guys want to add social proof is through testimonials, obviously, and look at your App Store reviews for that, through logos of big brands, through numbers, and then lastly, any awards that you've won. And I think, like, especially on the Apple side of things, you have these like little elements of being app of the day, things like that. And so those are ways, the 4 easy ways that you can add social proof. And I think having those on the pricing page, as people are starting to think about whether to pay you good money or not, it's a great way of making sure that you increase your conversions.
And one thing to note also, what we've seen a lot is actually using testimonials, not only good for social proof, but also taking the snippets of what people say and then using it in your advertising or in your copy. Like, what people say is the best type of branding you can get. Yeah. And those are the words that kind of relate with the user. So you should also think of it that you can use it in several different ways, not just for social proof.
Yeah. And what I started doing too, Darius, was I looked at some of the big competitors. I looked at their positive ones just to get a sense of what people liked about their app. And I looked at the negative ones and I was like, what do people hate? And then how can we reverse that messaging to be like, oh, they don't like that this app. So for example, a very popular app that we have a client that does something similar, they block robocalls. And one of the negative reviews that I saw a few people talk about was, it blocked my important calls. So guess what? We could add into our screenshots, into our pricing pages, say, well, we'll let the important calls go through.
Yeah, what you could also do, what has worked really well for us, we would look at the ads, Facebook ads of our competition, and companies in civil industry do really well, and then check out the keywords they keep using over and over again in the ads. And that's sort of a trigger as if like, okay, if they use it a lot of times in the ads, that must resonate with the people. You can sort of dig deeper of like why this resonates and how can we use it in our case.
Yeah, I love that. All right, I want to say hi to a few people. We've got Bite Games from Dubai. We got Leandro from Brazil. What's happening, my friend? Spencer, common name that I always see a lot. Jolene from Germany. Thank you for coming. And then we got LA as well. Line, please. I don't know. We'll try to get everybody. I know Jolene sent me an app, and so we're gonna get to his. And then line, please, as well, Joe. So just so you know, Darius, because Darius downloaded all the apps as well. So thank you for doing that. But Jolene is I think he's the CV maker. So Jolene, let me know in the chats if that's right or not. So thank you guys all for coming. I apologize for having this at the same time as Eric. But let's get into that first app that we talked about. So I'm thinking To Do Cloud. I'm gonna pull up look at that. I'm gonna make us go away, and then we're gonna pull up. How do I do? Oh yeah, here, we'll go do this.
So this is the To Do Cloud task list tracker?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Bring me back in. Take Darius out. All right, I'm trying to change scenes a little bit.
No worries.
Okay, here we go. I got all the apps downloaded. All right, Darius, you with me?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, so I'm on the onboarding process. It says, would you like to use To Do Cloud with Siri? I'm gonna say yes. So first one, hundreds of millions of tasks done. Now make that one more with your choice of To Do Cloud. You see that page, Darius?
Yeah, I'm on it.
What do you think?
Yeah, so first of all, I would put the sign up and login page a bit later on. I think it's sort of scary for users when they jump in and first thing you see, like, you're already asking me for something. I don't even know what this is.
Right.
You do put in some information, but it can be very scary for users, and you put up the barrier, the first wall at the very first page. I think one idea is to first explain the product through the onboarding, then ask them to take action a bit later when they already committed some time.
Totally agree. And I don't get a sense of what it is anymore. Like hundreds of millions of tasks done. Like I don't get it, right? Like, and I think here is where you can say, we just make you 20 times more productive, or, use that testimonial stuff, look through your good reviews and think about like what your app does. Cause right now I don't really get a sense of what this app does yet. Obviously it's to do, so I'm going to assume that's a task manager and stuff, but I agree with you. Like, where is the lead up? Where's the good onboarding process too?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also not very visual. You're not really showing me anything. You're only telling me. And you're telling me things that are maybe good for your brand. Like you did hundreds of millions of tasks, which is great for the brand, but it doesn't say anything to me. Like, what is the benefit I get right away? And I have to read through it, which is not good. You should show users, don't tell them if you can.
Totally. Yeah, and getting a sense of what the app looks like in between. All right. Well, you and me, we're going to sign up. All right. I'm going to sign up real quick. Thank you, guys. Hi to everybody. Mateus.
And so the first thing I have on the sign up page, and one of my sort of pet peeves, especially for apps, if it doesn't have autofill, for me, that's really frustrating. Like I want to be able to click in and put in my email address, put in my phone number, like put in the name using the autofill, and it's not possible right here.
Totally, man. I don't like that either. I'm going to bring this back just so you guys don't see all our my login information as I sign up for this app.
Do you want to do a review of the App Store as well, or is that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna pull that up. Let me pull it up on the screen
while we're signing up.
Okay.
I'm in the onboarding right now, but we can check out the App Store as well.
Yeah. So I have the App Store page on the screen right now on YouTube. I think my initial thoughts are the screenshots are way too busy. Like, I don't know what's going on. I can't read anything. The background's way too busy for me to figure out what is this app? Why should I download this beyond any other apps?
Yeah, and I think when developers create apps, they think like it's called To Do app. You know what it's going to be. But you can use this as an advantage and then differentiate. There must be 100 other To Do apps, and you can use the screenshots to really tell people what you're differentiating. Just like what you said, it's quite busy. Now, sort of caveat to everything is you should test. Like some things are just very counterintuitive. I mean, that'll be obvious. Like if you test it out, you'll see the results. So you should definitely test. But I agree agree that you could have more simple background and make the app stand out or make the words stand out. Because right now, get strong colors in the background. It's very colorful, and that might be distracting users. I don't know where to look first.
Yeah, and I think, we talked about this on our podcast episode. Reflectly does a good job of just having very clean design, having the things, those most important things. And the thing I talked about with social proof, like it's right here. It says featured on Apple, life hacks. And, that's so buried. Like I don't get a sense that it was ever featured. And so it's not really telling me much, and you're burying the lead. Like that is a key thing that most apps, like people want that social proof. Like, am I going to get screwed? If Apple likes it, it must be pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, and one also rule of thumb to think about. I think you can only communicate one thing each image. So you should really consider what you're communicating. Because are you showing the app? Are you telling the title? Is it a feature? What is it? And one way to look at it is if you look at the phone from far away, that's not close to your face, and then you can see what is it that stands out. And that's the first thing the user is going to consider.
Got it. I think people are saying that they're hearing an echo, so I'm going to try to turn your volume down because I'm hearing you through my computer, so I apologize on the echo. Sorry, guys. Trying to hear Darius. All right. Look, it's the first time I'm having somebody else. All right, so I'm going to go back to my phone.
And also, we talked about social proof. Really good way to use social proof is put it into your description. So you can put in a couple of quotes from users that leave you 5-star reviews, and you can put them in the description. And we see some positive response if it's at the top of the description. In the App Store. That's something to consider where you can really use social proof to your advantage.
Got it. Let me see if I can turn down the echo a little bit. Okay.
Are people hearing my echo?
Okay. All right. Well, I apologize for the echo. It's a little bit delay. So I'm on the first. Okay. So it looks like when I'm sharing the computer is when the echo is coming in. Okay. So I'm on the first page. It says, "Hi, Steve. Welcome to Do Cloud. Answer a few questions." And then it says, "No, thanks. Skip the questions." All right. So we'll get started.
I wasn't quite sure in that screen if I should click on the skip or there was also a little motion icon on the bottom. I was a little confused of what to do there.
I agree with you on that. I didn't know what to do either. And I don't know what you mean by where my challenges are. Okay. So I don't know how you feel about this. What are your challenges?
So are you on the first screen in the app or in the onboarding?
No, I'm still in the. I didn't skip the questions.
Okay. Yeah, I clicked on the skip.
Okay. So I'll go through these. All right. For me, productivity systems, I'm gonna say not at all. Let's see what they do real quick. Okay. Starts with planning. Okay. I'm more productive when to improve results. When can you plan? Okay, so plan to be productive. All right. When I begin work. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this. It seems too much going on. They're asking for the pricing plan. I have shared in the past that, hey, if you try to have your paid stuff, your subscription page during the onboarding, it actually helps with conversions. Have you guys noticed anything? Is there anything that you want to add on top of that?
No, I think it makes sense. We've seen similar results, but yeah. I agree with you. I'm watching the onboarding that you're going through right now, and it seems like there's asking for a lot of information up front. Like some apps, for example, a lot of fitness apps, you absolutely require some input so you can customize the app.
Right.
But I'm not sure why you would have so much input for a to-do app. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the actual app layout is going to be the same no matter what you put in.
Yeah.
We can see what's the difference between my app and your app because I skipped the onboarding and you're going through it. So I'm curious if the actual app will be different.
They are asking me for a rating. I do think that you should ask for it, but I think what I've found through my own apps is asking it for the first time on the first open is actually a bad idea. People don't generally like it. So maybe the second open for me. Okay, I'm there. So I think I'm on the same page as you. It said add to a list. List organize your work using flexible lists, blah, blah, blah. You seeing that too? Add a new task.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Another thing to note to the rating, it's absolutely true that people don't know what to rate yet. So it's very confusing in that. Like you haven't even tried the actual app. I'm not sure what you would be rating there.
hey Darius, I don't know if it's happening for you, but every time I hit next, the app is crashing for me.
No, I can hit next and I can go through the tutorial.
Okay. How do you feel
So
about
one thing to
tutorials
note,
like this?
so first of all, way too much text. Like I'm on the
Yeah.
third visual tutorial, there is, I mean, half a page of text. People are not going to read, they're going to skip. Like even if you have a good tutorial with where you're showing the sort of images and it's very visual, even that's hard enough, but so much text, like I guarantee you nobody's going to read all this text.
Yeah.
And so one thing to note, your UI should be so intuitive, so easy that you shouldn't need a tutorial. Like unless it's a super complicated app, which this is not, you should not. That's a first sign that your UI is not intuitive enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel the same way. And I think here is what do you want? It's still crashing for me, which is kind of crazy, but what do you want people to do? It's add a new task probably. Oh man. And the way I'm adding a task is way up top. What's on your mind?
Oh, it looks like a search bar. That's
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
I thought it was searching.
I know. So, and it's still crashing. But I think I would try to clear this up to just get to that one thing that you want users to do.
Yeah, and then so I did create a task, which was first confusing because it looks like a search bar, and then you get another page with another tutorial with another sort of setup, which is just like again way too much text. It should be so easy for me that you don't need a tutorial. And then I'm looking at the actual page where you can create a new task, and there's like 10 fields that I can put in, which is for new users scary. Like if I see 10 input fields, I don't like, do you need all of this at the very beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we can stop there, right, Darius? Because I think there's a lot that they got to improve on before we even continue about everything else. But make it super simple. The guys at Rev, I interviewed them too, and they cleaned up. They had a very similar homepage, but they figured out that if I can just get you to record, or if I can get you to add one task, then they'll figure out like the lists and everything else. Because right now, like I'm just starting, like get me to add a task. And I think I point to Clear being that to do app being so awesome because it's just like, you get it, right? They kind of teach you like swipe left, how to do it by just having this little task already on place. And that's a great way of like teaching, but letting me play with the app rather than making me read. Nobody wants to read or even watch a video. I have clients like, I want to create a video like how to do this. And I'm like, if you got to do that, then your app isn't very intuitive.
Absolutely. Yeah. It should just like the app itself should be the tutorial. You should be going through and you should be filling up the tasks as you learn about the functionality and be so smooth that you don't even realize that it's a tutorial. But it needs to be interactive and not just have all this text and people are going to skip and then they'll be confused.
Got it. All right, so let's get to a question. And thank you. It is my birthday, so you might see some text coming through as I do these app audits. Thank you.
Happy
Zeal.
birthday.
Thanks, brother. All right. And Zeal agrees with us. I think I'm saying his name right, but app probably shouldn't ask for money or rating before letting someone experience the app. The money side, I do think that it is important, but the rating side is what we kind of talked about. Like it's probably not good. So we got a question from Go for Game. I have some questions about my app's name. Should I go with a generic app title? How this can affect my ratings. Darius, you want to start off?
Yeah, so with your title, you should really consider ASO and keyword ranking. When you're just launching, if you do some very, very generic, it's going to be a very competitive keyword and you'll be able to rank. So at the very beginning, I would recommend putting your brand name and then right afterwards in the title, putting long tail keywords. So keywords that are low in competition and low on volume, but something that you can rank for. And over time, you'll build up those keywords higher and higher. And the ones in the title have the highest weight on your ASO ranking.
Yeah, completely agree. Nothing to add there. And then Rohit asks, when do you think we should start doing ASO? Do we do it after launching or before?
Way before. So the best way to launch your app is to sort of launch with ASO in your mind. So on the App Store, for example, you can do pre-signups. So before you actually release the app, people can sign up. And then on the day of the release, So let's say you have 100 people that pre-sign up. Day of the release, the App Store will count it as 100 new downloads. And as soon as you get initial spike, you'll sort of rank up in the ASO ranking, and that'll sort of boost you up. Because the App Stores take the first 7 days to consider whether your app is successful or if it's a flop. And if you don't get a lot of attention the first 7 days, it's going to be really hard to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah, and I agree. And I was going to create this too. So there's, correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, but I know bundle IDs on both Google Play and Apple are both indexed. That's what I've heard from others. And so when you think about ASO from the very start, before you even start putting all these bundle IDs and all these things that Apple and Google are asking you, think about certain keywords that you might want to put in those bundle IDs just to give you that slight edge.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know for sure what's in the algorithms, but we've done a lot of testing where you can sort of get a feel for what has weight on the algorithm. So whatever you can do at the beginning, you should totally do, because again, if you can get an initial spike, like on the day of the launch, the first 7 days, you'll start off at the very top or much higher closer to the top.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the next app. I know, Matthias, you got to run soon, so we're going to go to your wedding cake app. If you guys got questions like this, we're just going to do them in between so that you just don't see a bunch of app audits. Let me share my phone screen so you guys can see in order of the way that we want to do the apps. Again, we've got Matthias's app with the cake. We got the gadgets. We got Bolt. And then we have the CV cover. So we're going to try to get to them, especially if you're here. Obviously, we want to get to your app. If you're not here, well, then you're going to have to just watch it on the replay. All right, Matthias, got this going. Built in Unity. Darius is with me.
Yeah, so I'm checking out the app in the App Store right now. And the first thing I would say, you're using a lot of keywords in the title and subtitle, which is fantastic. I'm not sure how well you're ranking for those. Depends on the analytics, but it looks like you're considering keywords in the title, which is a good start.
Yeah, I like that too. So he's asking for the rating right up the bat. Let's do that. We should click on, I'm going to share my screen again. I think the echo might come in, but let me try to figure out the settings so that the echo doesn't come in.
So I can just continue in the meantime, talk about the screenshots. I think the screenshots are actually pretty nice. They're very simple, very clean, and they play with the idea of wedding cake. So from the top of the screenshots, you can see the sort of wedding cake decor melting in. I think it's quite nice. One thing to consider, we haven't mentioned in the previous app, is also trying out app previews. So I've seen mixed results with using app previews. You should really test both variations and see if it works. But if you can include a video and you have a nice visual app and you can put it at the front, that definitely could help. But again, I've seen mixed results. So you should test it out for your variation of the App Store.
Yeah, and I do think that when it's talking about like a cake one, right? Like where it's probably going to be heavy duty and you're going to have to do things. That's where it's probably valuable. We just did the ASO thing and we're talking about like games being the app preview videos, like almost across the board, having some element of it tends to help out more. But with this type of game, with this type of app, like where you're probably going to be messing around with a lot of different things, I think an app preview video would help here.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the app, it looks pretty interactive from the screenshots. So if you can show that, because you can communicate what it is in 1 or 2 seconds, and you should absolutely do that if you have the chance, instead of people having to take a couple seconds to go through and read, because you're going to get some drop-offs in there. But if you can communicate right away, app previews can do that for you.
What do you think about just like, I'm looking at the first screenshots, it's design beautiful cakes in 3D. Why don't you just show that beautiful cake, right? Like the finished product really up front and center rather than splitting the screenshots into two like this. Like inspire me, show me the winning moment of this beautiful cake. Especially if you're going to say design beautiful cakes in 3D.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I know what they're doing it. Like this is a very common thing on the App Store to split the screenshot and have it sort of go across first 2 screenshots. But you have to understand they're doing it because they're trying to communicate something important in each of the messages. And if you're trying to communicate beautiful cake design in 3D in the first message, again, don't tell us, show us. That's sort of the common theme of all of this.
I love it. Okay, you want to get into the app?
Yes.
All right, I love having you on here, man. It makes it a little bit easier for me to monitor everything.
I like it.
All right, cool. So we've got...
Okay, so this thing is built in Unity, I see.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing you notice, it loaded horizontally, not vertically. That's interesting, especially because the cake is sort of tall, so you could do it vertically.
And it is asking me for a rating. One thing that we did notice too, and the oh man, I'm gonna forget the company name, but essentially, what people what they recommended was showing, would you rate us 5 stars? And then if they hit yes, then showing this prompt. And so, Mateus, like, be careful. Like, I don't think the first open is a good spot. I think you're gonna get 1 stars. That's what I experienced. If you're like, what? I have to review this app before I can even use it. Those are the type of reviews that I got when I did this.
Yeah, and definitely you should ask for a review like after you have delivered the aha moment.
Yeah.
Like in every app, when you get in, there should be like, wow, this is why I need this app in my life. And right afterwards, that's when you show the rating.
All right, let's try this new. Welcome to this brief tutorial. Okay, again, you're kind of walking me
Lengthy
through
tutorial, a lot of text.
a lot of text.
It's not very smooth as I'm sliding my finger across the tutorial. It's a little, you can feel that it's not very smooth. I don't know if it's because it wasn't built natively or, but that's just the first thing.
Look at that. So, okay, I went back. So now I can start adding layers. It's already 3 layers to that.
Okay, so you can build the cake. Interesting.
It is cool, the functionality. This
One
item's
thing to
only
note is
available.
that I'm not sure if either of us are in a target group for this.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. I guess decorations, get access to. So, like,
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead.
no, just for me, first thought was looking at I'm actually looking at the app and I'm putting flowers on the cake. But I don't think you necessarily need a tutorial. Like it's very self-explanatory. Like I would understand right away, even without tutorial, like, okay, here's my cake. I can move it around with my finger and I can add things to it. I don't think I don't know why would you put a tutorial with the 5 screenshots across.
Yeah, he says as he's listening to this. So far, reviews are good. We are redesigning the review prompts in the tutorial. So hopefully this will help. I'm actually on the pricing page right now because I did a few features I couldn't subscribe to. I think I would make I think it's too busy right now. And I would try to clean it up a little bit where you can see the pricing plans and then I can't read the text of what I'm getting. So get access to all decorations, get access to new, cancel anytime. I just think it's way too much. And I try to clean this up. And I don't know how to clean it up, but what I get access to should be more visible. Like I should know what I'm trying to sign up for as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's only a 3-day free trial. Again, you should test this out. It depends on industry, but I've noticed that people are not comfortable enough with 3 days because they don't think that, it's coming up too soon. I'll forget to cancel it. There's some objections they have that. So test out a 7-day trial. We've seen better conversions on some of the apps that try a 7-day trial.
Have you seen? So I've actually heard that 14-day trial is a little bit too long. Like I heard one client say like he had like more cancellations with a 14-day trial than a 7-day trial. Have you noticed anything like that?
Yeah, so like again, this is one of those things that sometimes counterintuitive. It depends on the industry. So most of the apps that I've worked with have seen the best success rate in terms of like volume of how many people click and what the conversions with the 7-day trial, because it's such a common thing and you're just used to it. Like you see the most of the apps. And that's not something like if I was looking at what to test in the app, that's not the first thing I would test. I would just go with the default on this one and test something else.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Yeah, and also looking at the subscription page right now, I have the 3 options, and it's the same where I'm not quite sure what I'm getting in the different options. When I click on subscribe, it jumps into the subscription page. So there's so much more you could communicate, and using this layout, you're not taking advantage of the sides of the screen. Like most of the subscription is sort of in the middle. There's a lot more place, like a lot more real estate that you're not taking advantage of.
Yeah, we're A/B testing this, but I'm almost a fan of. We promote that going try to get people on a yearly plan is the best way. And I think having different options like this actually lead to more like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And you have to think from a cake, designer perspective. I think $100 is relatively cheap because, people are paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for a cake. And so I think I would try to push the yearly. I like super simple pricing pages that just give me Like here's what you should do. Here's the cool pricing page. And I actually point to Reflectly as a great like pricing page example where it's like, it's very clear what you can get. And I think with this, I'm unclear where to sign up and it just feels busy to me. And I don't know what to read. There's just so much small text as well.
Yeah, and also both the monthly plan and 1 year plan have the little crown in a corner, the little highlight. So like, which one are you trying to push? If you're pushing monthly, highlight the monthly, make sure that it's in the middle, it has the crown, it has the highlights, but it says most popular and best value on two. Like I think you should decide what you want users to do and then push them in that direction.
I love it. Yeah, and here's a great spot. Like I said, point to my earlier spot, like, what are people loving about the app? What are people loving about some of your competitors? Use this. And then what are people not liking about your competitors? Use that language. I think access to all the new decorations, great. But like, what else? Like it gives me the features, but like, why would I want this too? Like talk about some of those social proof elements.
And you can show the decorations. You can show the things that are going to be there. I mean, it's a very visual app. So, be visual with the people.
Cool. I like it, man. All right. I think this is good. What do you think? You want anything else you want to add?
No, I think this is about it. I do want to play around with it more, but all the feedback for now. And also in the subscription page, you could put, again, social proof in there. You could put quotes from people. You could have a bunch of other stuff. You could try a longer page where you have some quotes under when people scroll, just sort of more convincing. Definitely test everything. Don't trust anything we say. You should test. But these are just some highlights.
Yes, I agree. It is the common theme. It's like, yes, here's the things that we think will work, but obviously testing is very key. I love it when I'm talking to people, Darius, and I'm like, hey, have you tried this? Like, yeah, we tried it. It didn't work. I'm like, okay, good. Thank you for keeping me humble.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Key. What's that?
No, I was just saying that's the most important thing. Even though it's difficult on the iPhone, especially you can test App Store within the iPhone, and also testing the actual app itself is difficult. But that's sort of the key to success is like test it out. Because honestly, at the end of the day, like nobody knows what's going to work except for the market. Market is always right.
So Zeal, and she said I'm doing it right, but Hello Dating is the next app I would like to check out. But while you do that, we got a question from Mira. Says, hey, can we put Instagram or WhatsApp in our app title, like stickers for Instagram? Did you get that
the
question?
App title?
Well, they want to use branded terms. So be careful. If you want to put branded terms like Instagram or WhatsApp in your app title, it's very visible to everybody. So we actually did this for a client who wanted to be super aggressive, and we put Periscope for like something else. And we ranked well. We were like top 11, but Periscope and Twitter came to us and be like, you have our brand term, you have our trademark term in there. So if you really want to be sneaky about it, what I do recommend is putting the Spanish Mexico title where people might not see it, but it's still indexed by the US App Store. That's where I try to hide some of those things if you're trying to be a little gray hat with your ASO strategy.
Yeah, I think that's against the putting the title, like branded keywords, in your title and keyword field. It's against the policy. People do put it in the keyword field on the iPhone a lot, but you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Yeah, be careful. Be careful. It can get you in trouble, especially on Google Play, man. That thing will just get you banned. Like Apple might be like, don't do that. Google Play will just knock you out. So be careful with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is not legal advice.
No. Yeah, exactly. talk to a lawyer as well. Deus, thank you. I hope that was helpful for you. Let's go to Zeal's app because he's here or she is here, and I want to make sure that the people that are here are the ones that we actually check out as well. So let's look at the pricing, or let's look at the.
So which app is this? Sorry,
it's called Hello Dating.
Okay.
And I think it's the purple one. I'm gonna assume. Let me know, Zeal. Is this the one that we're looking at? Hello Dating. So.
Man, dating apps have such good like conversions and revenue. People are willing to pay so much money for dating apps.
Yeah. All right. Advanced scam detection, real people, check user behavior, naughty report. Zeal, looking at the right one? I know there's a delay, but make a few. Okay, so right off the bat, Darius, like I hate this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I hate it when screenshots go from bottom of the screenshot text to then top, bottom, like visually cool, but as a user, like I just don't read that way. Like if I had a book that did that, it would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, and I think you want to create a flow throughout your screenshots. Like you want to have a sort of, and with this one, people's eyes will go up and down, and it is sort of, it might be distracting for people. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. And so
I
that's
agree.
the first thing. I do like the look of the app, and I think they're really trying to overcome objections here, that advanced scam detection, that they're talking about real people, the catfishing. I think these are problems that dating apps have, and so they're really trying to be like, hey, this is real people, real apps, or I mean real people. We're doing a good job of making sure there's no catfishing type of stuff.
Yeah, and also I think the other than the layout of the screenshots, I think actually looks pretty nice. You got a very
Yes.
simple background, like it's clear what you're communicating that comes out. I think that's pretty cool. One thing I would want to comment on, this is not an ASO thing, but the rating. You should really focus on the rating of the app because the rating is probably one of the things the biggest effect on your ASO, your conversions, and everything else. Like we see over and over again that your rating is so much more important than like where you put the keywords or what are you. And this is obviously a much more difficult problem to solve because you're going to improve the app, so you improve the rating. But you could probably do better than 4.1. Well, the one thing to say, dating apps do get lower rating than the quality of the actual app because people are angry that they didn't get a match or they didn't meet their love of their life. So if you look at other dating apps, and also know they have a very low rating, but that will have a big effect on your ASO.
How do you recommend getting better ratings?
I mean, like what people don't want to hear, the true answer is that you could improve the product. There might be ways to be able to do it better where you put the rating in a better location. So you ask for rating after they had the aha moment. For example, a dating app, like maybe right after you get a match, then you ask for rating. Like that might be something to improve it. But at the end of the day, like it's just improve the product. Exactly. As soon as people have the aha moment, once they get what the app is about, then you want to ask them. Yeah, so I couldn't see the app in my app store actually, and it might be because I have a European app store, not the US one.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna watch your screen and then we can take it there.
All right, so I'm gonna sign in here. I like that they have a sign in. It is saying sign in, create account, and then I can sign in with Apple, which I'm sure Apple loves. Okay, so I will continue. Birth dates. I will give you guys my birth date. Just turned 40 today. Male.
Congrats. How does it feel?
Feels amazing. I'm wearing this shirt because I want you guys to potentially be able to see my guns.
It's working. Good strategy.
All right, I have to upload 3 photos of myself. All right, let me just take a photo. Make it easy. Oh, it's Darius. All right, here we go.
And by the way, thumbs up on the sign in with Apple. It's very smooth. People love it when you don't have to type in the name and all of that. If you have to put in some sort of a login, definitely do it with the. It's a good screenshots. Definitely do it with the Apple login.
Okay. See, I got messed up. Okay. So is there 2 already or what? I got to do one more, I guess. Okay. I hope I get some matches with these photos. All right. Here. I heard that if you're a dog lover, you get more swipes. So love.
But you gotta include the dog in the picture.
That's what I heard, right?
Yeah, man. Put puppies in pictures. It works.
Yes. Honey, I don't know why I know this. I'm sorry. I know this.
It's from reviewing all the dating apps.
No.
Man, but that is a tough category because if you look at the App Store, and for example on the iOS in the US App Store, Tinder is like the 3rd highest grossing app in the App Store. They make so much money. I think the last time I checked, they did, I might be wrong, but around $40 million in revenue in March, just for Tinder. So if they make so much revenue, they can pay so much money for advertising and for acquisition, and it's such a saturated market. You really got to be able to that you either differentiate somehow or you have some magic sleeve trick for user acquisition, because outcompeting or outbidding some of the highest earning apps is going to be really difficult.
Yeah. And I do like the prompts here. Like I feel like it's a lot they're asking me. Maybe they need this information, but the way I'm inputting the information is easy. Like it's just tap 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 tap, like rather than writing. So it's asking me for prompts, I guess, which is what I would ask somebody, a potential person, what they're asking. Oh goodness. Oh, it's me answering this question. One thing I never get tired of is
Oh, this is just like Bumble. They have a similar
oh really?
similar onboarding thing with the profile. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of things, but it seems like it's much smoother. Although I guess for a dating app, you need to have some basic information that's put in so you can actually use the app and the full functionality. It would be better if you can jump straight in and actually get the value without having to input so much information. But if you can get away with it, then great.
Yeah, I think if you make it fun enough, I don't mind it as much. But again, yeah, I do sometimes want to get in, but I know it might not be valuable. Okay, so I'm in. So now, if you can see this, like I'm seeing people. I don't know what to do if I don't know the swipe left, keep browsing, no match, or I don't get this. Okay, so I'm swiping left and right, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so I guess as I scroll, like how am I supposed to like these people? Oh, this is one person. My bad. Got it. All right. Got it. Did not know that. That's just dumb, right? For me. Okay. Sure, I don't want to disappoint people. Okay. Anything
again,
here that you want to talk about?
No, I would just sort of ask kind of like a bit like more of a sort of macro level. I think like what is the main differentiation between this and all of the other dating apps that are out there?
Right.
I hope there's a strategy behind how you are going to stand out. Otherwise, it'll be difficult because this seems like a very much combo of Bumble and Tinder and a few of the other apps. I don't know what's different right here.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out like what's their monetization scheme too, because I haven't experienced that. Maybe that's better. I don't know about dating apps if that's good or not, but maybe it's the chatting, and maybe they'll hit me once I experience this. Again, I'm gonna like everybody. No ego, amigo. Everybody gets a like. All right. I have no idea. Okay, here we go. Send a message. Looks like it's a one-time purchase. If I want to send this person a message, continue. Okay. Anything on this messaging?
Not really. I'm just trying to see if I can get their stats and some of the revenue numbers for last month.
Yeah.
So we can see how they're doing compared to some of the other dating apps. I see that in March they made less than $5,000, so that could be anything from 0 up to 5K
Yep.
globally. And in terms of the actual rank, the trend for the last couple of days is that the ranking has been going down. Right now they're around position 1,000 in social networking, and it's in a downward trend slightly. So you're gonna make sure that you're going upwards.
I see the naughty report down the bottom of the profile. Tinder makes about 100 million. Looking cute. Thanks, guys. Okay. Oh, I want to see if they had any specific questions. I think the whole team's here sounds like. Okay, check out the naughty report at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what a naughty report would give me. Explicit language, personal details. Yeah, honestly, I don't care if she uses explicit language, sexual language. I don't know why I care about this. What do you think?
So I think maybe this would be more beneficial. I mean, I'm not sure, but I could see how maybe women would value this when they're looking at guys' profile, because there could be a lot of assholes on dating sites. So maybe you're trying to sort of filter out the bad people in there, so you get a report how they communicated before. So this might be valuable. I agree that as a guy, I haven't had like such negative experiences that I would want to know what's their report. But if that's the purpose of it, then maybe from the woman's perspective, then I would get.
Good point.
But then
and I'm glad you're here, because I would sound like a complete asshole, just myself.
No, but also if it is a feature targeted that that will mostly benefit women,
Yeah.
you should also communicate that in the App Store, because in the App Store, the Naughty report has a woman's report actually. So as a guy, we were like, why would I, look at this? I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if that's your only differentiation to all the other dating apps and Tinder, which is one of the biggest earners on the App Store, you might have a hard time competing. The app looks nice and smooth, but I'm not sure what's like the killer thing that I would definitely need this versus the other apps.
Well, Zil did ask, does safety filters prevent or say specific kinds of messaging coming through to users, such as sexual? Yeah, and you're right. Like I didn't even think about the other side. Things just as a guy, I just don't think about. Okay, in the settings screen on the left, go down to filters, safety filters. Okay.
So one thing to also add, I think that it is a good thing they're targeting the features and functionality towards women, because it's harder to get women on the dating app than it is to get guys on. It's sort of like a club. Like if you get the women in there, the guys will come. But I'm not sure if this alone is strong enough. So again, we're not in the target group, but looking at the fact that they haven't made any money last month, I'm not sure how strong is their monetization.
Yeah, I think I would focus there too. Like they did say Daniel said they were growing and then just suddenly dipped to. I have noticed that dating apps are actually growing still despite this pandemic. Have you seen something similar, Darius?
Sorry, what was that?
Well, I have noticed that dating apps are still actually kind of growing. They're not like taking a huge plummet despite the pandemic and people having to stay home.
Yeah, I think people are, well, one, they're just bored.
Yeah.
So they're using it's a distraction as well. And I think they're just hoping to line up, dates for when it's all over. So I think that's only a positive sign, because people believe we're going to go back to normal soon. Otherwise they wouldn't be using it.
Well, so they did ask me to check this part out, and maybe you can see my screen here, but safety filters. So explicit language, I can block out explicit language, personal details, and then sexual language as well. So it's kind of nice,
yeah.
but
So that makes sense.
I think,
Again, if this is like the main thing of the app, you should put it in the App Store. Put it as the first or the second screenshot. Like in the App Store, it's the safety filters like down in the fifth or sixth screenshot.
Yeah.
Like not many people scroll all the way down there to see it.
yeah, I agree. And then if this is something that you want to highlight more of, like don't bury it. Right? Like,
Yeah, because there's so many dating apps that look the same. Like if this is the main difference, then go all in and communicate it and really like show it to users.
okay. So it looks like they do have a subscription-based app, but it only shows it when you're required to use that feature, which I think, tell me what you think. I think that's a mistake. I would rather, like, let's say I did it the first right? Like, oh, cool. And then maybe I hit something. I don't know. I think you can show it sooner. If I'm liking 2 or 3 people, like I'm pretty engaged in it, be like, oh, this person seems to engage. Like, do you want a super boost? And give me that. So I'm hitting the super boost. Boost your profile and receive up to 20 times more views, matches, and likes. So I get it.
Yeah, that's sort of the standard monetization on the dating apps, and I think people are used to that. But yeah, I agree that you should try to have that feature of the paywall sooner and just test if you can convert people there after they've experienced some of the app.
See, look, here's dog picture. I wonder if it works for women too. Do you like this, Darius?
Sure.
I'm gonna like her anyways. Okay, if you click on the search preferences, but I don't know where to put the search preferences. I guess I have to go back to my profile. Okay. Oh, see again, like I don't even think I saw this search preferences. I'm willing, like let's not discriminate. I'm willing to go higher. Okay. All right. Then location will pop up. All right. I think anything else you want to add here? I think we're good.
No, it looks smooth, looks nice. They've obviously put a lot of effort into the design and the engineering of the product, which is great. But I would ask more of like, what is the main differentiator? Because it'll be hard to compete in a very saturated market.
Yep. And I guess these are where the prompts are showing, like movies or series, movies, and these were where my prompts would be. So I don't know if the prompts are like some algorithm.
Yeah, we see that on Bumble and some of the other apps. That's not,
okay.
Unique.
Cool. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it's an app like, for example, dating or any marketplaces, like you need certain saturation in a more geographic location for it to take off. If you try to go national or international at the beginning and you get like a little bit of there, it's never going to have the critical mass. So you gotta get the critical mass in an area. If it's an app like a dating where it requires physical touch and physical location to be in the same place together, you need to have the critical mass. So sort of try to figure out how you can do that at the beginning.
Okay, it looks like there's no sound coming in. Now is it better? I think it's better. We're missing the points. No sound, no sound. Okay. Now is there sound? I hate this delay too. Let me see.
Okay.
All right. I think there's sound now. You guys hear us?
Well, you just missed all of the wisdom.
I know.
Sorry.
This is what happens when you go live. Okay, great. Now is there sound? Okay, it's back. Okay. So what we're saying was, when we work with dating apps, I like to focus on the different geographies of a dating app because I think Hello Dating has done a good job because they got thousands of reviews. And so if you're starting out as a dating app, like focus on different geographies. Make sure that you can really penetrate, pun intended, penetrate that geography first, and you can use keywords around that geography. So if it's San Francisco, you look at like sports teams or look at different things around that area and really target, along with the, like search ads and Facebook ads and any ads that you can run. And so that's what I recommended.
Yeah, and you can run, targeted location ads for specific neighborhood or even part of the city. So you need a critical mass if it's an app that requires physical contact of two people. So yes.
Awesome. Okay, let's get into one last app. And yes, we'll have a lineup next time. Guys, I didn't really think that app audits would be this popular. Happy to do this. I thought there'd be more questions for us as well, but we'll get into Yov's app. I know Yov's been waiting patiently. It's got a gadget app. Let me look at the App Store as well, and I'll pull that up. And so, Yov, it is called, for those who want to follow along, Gadget Hunter, I believe, is Yov's app. And I'll pull it up and we can look at the App Store screenshots first, and then we'll go into Line Please. We're going to have to do it. Zeal asks if I got any matches. I don't know yet, Zeal. Don't know yet. Don't know if I got matches. Okay, it's called Gizmo Hunt. And I will pull up the App Store right now, and we'll take a look at that on my computer because it's bigger. And then we can talk about that.
So the Gizmo Hunt Geek Tech Gadget, AI-powered geek gadget, Hunter or something. It cuts off. The subtitle, sort of a first piece of, no, the subtitle cuts off. You can't read all of it. At least on my phone.
Yeah, I can't read. I can read all of it because I'm looking at on the web. The coolest way of finding new gadgets, find amazing gizmos and gadgets using AI engine, discover the most innovative products, edit your top lists, edit by, or create your top list, edit by and share. Again, I like super clean backgrounds. It just becomes easier to read. I think the branding with the monkey is not necessary here. I always say, like, unless you have like huge amounts of traction, like a Reflectly, then branding's not really important until you hit a certain point of scale. Then you're like, okay, now I got to think about branding because it takes a long time. Here, you're just trying to get people to download and convert. And so the coolest apps, maybe it's like find the coolest gadgets. It's for tech nerds. And so if you can have different tech elements and like really make it bigger, that might be interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to note as well, like you said, the logo is each of the screenshots is not necessary, and it's taking out space. So you're putting it right under the text. But what bothers me a lot is that the design is not it's not aligned. Sometimes the logo covers the phone, and it's very near the text is very near top of the screenshots. So you should have some gap there. Visually, it's not very nice and very pleasing. So if you take away the monkey face, you have a lot more space to work with, and you wouldn't overlap on the elements. It's just not pleasing to the eye when it's sort of stuffed in there like this. Like it seems forced.
Check this out. Darius.
And the same on the, sorry, just one thing to add, the same in the description. This is a place to use the social proof. You can put in quotes and any reviews you have from people in the description.
Yeah, and I see so many app developers have social proof in the description, but not in the screenshots. So definitely, if you already have it in your description, nobody's gonna read it. So make sure you put it onto the screenshots as well, because people are gonna
Yeah,
definitely look at that.
absolutely. If you have any like app of the day or any feature, put it in there, or any quotes, that does help.
I want to make sure you get a plug here, Darius. Daniel says, "Nice course on Udemy, man."
Yay! Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, let's take a look at the app.
So the first thing I see,
I got a pop up right away that says enable push notifications.
yeah, but behind the pop-up there was text, and again it was not aligned. The text was going over the screen on my phone. And it seems that the picture in the background is not
Distorted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's distorted. Like it's way too tall.
Yeah, and I think these little things are so important, because as I'm using the app, especially if you're talking about gadgets, I already have a sense that you're not going to show me that cool of gadgets, because it just doesn't seem, it's distorted. I personally don't like the font layout. The branding there is great. Like, I would just try to keep it clean. Like, what does a cool gadget site look like? Where are these geeky guys or gals hanging out? And maybe like imitate that color scheme, whether it's Engadget, whether, whatever they're losing. Like, just think about the color schemes that they're used to and show something similar to them.
Yeah, and like the first time I open the app, that's the first impression. And if I see that you can't align the images, I'm going to wonder if you have enough engineering power to give me the gadgets using AI. Like, if you can't do the basic things, people are going to judge whether you can do the more complicated things. Even though it seems silly, I know a lot of times, for example, when I work with like backend engineers, and they focus all on like the performance and using the AI and having like smooth code, but they don't necessarily care about like the looks of the buttons and the pictures. Like, to a user, that all matters. It matters to them just as much how fast the app is, how good the app looks. Like, it's all part of one package. And if the first impression I get is not positive, you're already fighting an uphill battle.
That's true. Okay, let's get started knowing each other. So from now on, looks like we can swipe left and right, which different gadgets we like.
And one thing to note, it asks to log in as a Facebook user or a guest. Like, if I don't need to log in at the beginning, maybe don't even ask for it. Something to consider. Every app wants to own data of the users, like I get it. But if it's not essential at the beginning, again, it's something you can ask for. Like, once I've seen a couple gadgets and I want to save them, then there's a use of creating a database and like me actually being a user so I can log in. But if it's not essential at the beginning, maybe you don't have it there.
So it starts off with pick your nose, paper cups. Interesting. I think what would be interesting too is asking me what I'm into. Like, am I into like computer gadgets or certain things? Like a paper cup, and that's the first thing I see. I'm like, I thought this was about gadgets, not something fun that I might see on Groupon or something.
Yeah, and if you look at the screen as well, it's a video, but it's sort of low resolution. It's blurry on my phone. The buttons at the top are cut off again. It doesn't look very nice.
And look, we're going to nitpick here, but if you're really focusing on the gadget people, they're used to, this is our demographic, me and Darius, right? And so, like, even when I swipe, it doesn't feel as smooth as like a Tinder swipe feels.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like the app is built natively for iPhones, for example, because you can see again at the top, there's the two buttons. They're strangely positioned. Usually you don't have buttons at the very top. You have the settings on the top left, and also on the bottom screen, the like and dislike buttons are very much near the bottom. Like, it looks like you just sort of built it for another platform, or you're trying to use some sort of a framework and you just import it in here. But doesn't feel natively. The buttons are not where iOS users expect buttons to be.
Yeah, and you're using up so much real estate on the image itself, which is nice, but we don't need that big of real estate. Like, if you're going to try to make money off this app because I buy now and maybe you make a commission off of that, then make that way more prominent, because then it just becomes a utility for people just to be swiping. But, like, you want to make money. So think of it as a business. How do I get, so maybe even like shrinking that a little bit, having the buy nows more near the center, or adding the wish list, which I don't think at the bottom, you don't even need these buttons. If I'm already swiping, why do you have these buttons there still?
Yeah, and I'm a little confused, because if I click on the buy now button, it takes me to the App Store. So I thought if I click on a wish list button, it would you add this to the wish list. but it doesn't. It just opens the wish list and it says wish list is empty. So I'm like confused. What's the, yeah. And then how do
So
I add it to the wish list? I'm not sure about that.
Yo did say it was built in React.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's beautiful apps that work in React. You should just, I think, spend a bit more time considering the way it looks on the different iPhones.
Okay, so it said that, hey, now I get the screen again. It's the text is not done well. I can see everything. You're awesome. We learned enough from now. We'll get you personalized. So it was just more personalizing what I like and what I didn't like that very beginning. And now I get to see.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have that.
Okay, Ninja Wallet, sure. Don't want the map. Okay.
Let the shopping begin.
Again, I do think people want this stuff, but I almost feel like sometimes curated is better. So just showing me random
Yeah,
stuff,
I agree.
it's not that great.
The layout doesn't feel natural, and I think a lot of first-time developers or early developers make the mistake of like doing one version and deploying to iOS and Android. The behavior of users is different. They expect different buttons in different places, and it doesn't work very well. Like if you try to cater to both with the same design, you're not gonna win either. I'm not sure if this is the case, but something to note.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Darius. So I want to make sure we're good on time as well. What's a strategy that you've been really focused on? I know we talked a lot about the TikTok, so I don't want to ruin the podcast episode that's about to come out. But is there something you want to share with the audience? Give them a little teaser on a tip or advice that you've been kind of seeing working well in the app stores.
On the app stores, one thing that I've seen more and more is that the duration of how long your app is in the app store tends to matter a lot. So sometimes you might have a really good strategy, but if an app hasn't been there for 2 years, it might be difficult to outcompete them. And another thing, I think the ratings and reviews of the app matter so much more than people realize. Like I think that's one of the most important elements of the entire ASO strategy. You can put in the best keywords and putting all the screenshots and videos, but if your app rating is low, you're just not going to get pushed up by the algorithm. Like that really matters. And that sort of goes back to the basics of in the early stages, the product is so much more important than marketing. So if you have a bad product, you should not be spending time on marketing any of the ASO or any of that. You should just build an amazing product.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we did get quite a question and we'll answer. If you guys got a question before we go, I got to jump on another call right after this, but let us know. So Arvoki or something said, starting with a social app or a workout, an app like Workout. So I always say, look, this is a strategy that's worked when Chad Moretto wrote about this back in 2013 or so. But essentially, study the app stores. If you're just an indie, you don't have a big budget, and you're just starting to get going, like Darius said, focus more on the product, and then also study the app stores. Which ones are making money? If you find one that's making money, social networks are really, really hard, man. Like really, really hard. Probably need an investment or start with a certain niche. But to ramp up, if you're just trying to make a living and quit that job or make money off of apps, then I would probably start with a workout app. Like that's probably making money, and find something that is working well, and then see if you can improve upon it or replicate it in a way where you are improving upon the app.
Yeah, and it's so difficult. It's the same with marketplaces or sort of dating apps or social networks where you require a critical mass of people. It's just so difficult to get that. So if you can do it with a workout app, and you can really differentiate and do something very, very specific, because again, there's thousands of workout apps. But if you do something super niche, that's how you sort of can get started.
Totally. And just getting that first win is so important. Okay. And then he said, thanks. Sharky asks, how should I market my Android game? Via Instagram, AdMob, or something?
Yeah, so I mean, this could be 1,000 different suggestions. It depends so much on the app and all these things. Without knowing anything, I would say off the bat, TikTok. TikTok is the place. If it's B2C, do TikTok. You can get incredible organic reach. So you can literally post a video with 0 followers on your profile and suddenly have 20,000. You can have 1 million views, 20,000 followers with one single video. And something to note, I just discovered this last week. It actually happened for us Reflectly. They have introduced app install buttons directly on the profiles of apps. So not just a link in bio, like an Instagram, but in actually TikTok, you can have a download app. People can download the app without leaving TikTok. Now this is going to be so powerful. So you can get best organic reach on any platform in the world right now is TikTok.
I like it, man. So you're suggesting create a video that you think might go viral on TikTok that is funny, but it also talks about your app, and then try to get that organic reach on TikTok if you're on a very limited budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's free. So what I was download TikTok right now, spend 5 hours watching the videos until your brain melts, and then make 5 videos every single day, like post 5 videos a day. It's not like on Instagram, because on Instagram, your videos are shown only to your audience, but on TikTok, it's shown to other people outside of your followers. So that's why you can get a viral hit with million views, but you have to put in the work. So download TikTok, spend 5 hours, publish 5 videos a day, put in your app, and it's going to happen. It's just the question of, are you patient enough?
I love it. All right, one last question from Paul. I got an app idea that I'm working on. Can use your measurement to aggregate fashion pieces from fashion brands. What do you think?
I don't understand exactly, but also I'm not in the target group.
Well, I'm going to assume that, hey, I can say, look, I'm about 5'7", about a $138, and they're going to give me some fashion pieces that I can try. Look, here's what I say, Paul. Like, who is it tailored for? Like the specific market, meaning what I always talk about marketing, I'm like, who's the easiest yes you can get from? Find that through Facebook, whatever it is, go build that community and go test it. Because I don't know if an app idea is going to succeed. I didn't think Hooked would do well. I didn't think Airbnb would do well. I didn't think Uber would do well. So I'm not good at figuring out if app ideas. What I am good at is validating an app idea. And so where can you find the easiest yes? Go talk to that community. Go build relationships with that community and target that community if you can run some ads. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the biggest mistake first-time developers make is that they're going to build an app. They'll spend months sort of building something without talking to users. They release it and then realize nobody wanted it. And maybe nobody wanted it, or maybe you just sort of missing the like 1 or 2 talking points in there. So like you said, before you actually build a product, talk to users, get some validation. Something I like to do is use a tool called Glide Apps. You can make apps using Google Sheets. So it's actually super, super nice, no coding. It takes whatever, like an hour to build a thing, share it, and it works like an actual app. So you can have your idea, like tonight, you can have the MVP of your idea, then go like talk to people and watch them as they use the product. Don't tell them what to do, watch them, and that's how you can learn. And if you get a lot of like, oh my God, I need this in my life, then you can invest into actually building the app with engineers.
What is it called? Live apps?
Glide Apps.
Glide Apps.
So cool. Glideapps.com, I think. And yeah, just like a super simple, like a drag and drop, and using Google Sheets, you can even build in like database. You can even like have purchase buttons and sync it with Stripe. Like it's a super nice tool. So like validate and build MVPs before you build the product.
Wow, that's
because at the end of the day,
tool.
like nobody knows what's going to work. Like we're not Steve Jobs. You're not Steve Jobs.
Right.
You just have to test.
We can't predict it. All right. Sharky says, one last comment. We'll leave with that. Thank you both for the tip. I didn't even think about TikTok. Look, guys, Darius is a machine. Go check. Darius, what do you want people to follow up with you on? Give us a plug.
I think the craziest one is the App Marketing Guy. And that's my blog, and I talk about a lot of the stuff there. So yeah, I think that's the best one for now.
And then you got a YouTube channel as well, right? You want people to check that out? What should they search for?
So I do have a YouTube channel that's just coming up called Darius Marketing. So you can check that one out. I'm at the very early stages, but I will be putting more effort, more videos, and I hope that we get to work more like this because this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I hope you guys got a lot out of it as well. I will put a lineup in terms of the number of apps. What I honestly want to do is if you show up, we want to audit your app. And so maybe I can figure out a system that we can have it on Skype. You can chat me. I have a list of apps, but I don't want, if you're not here, you're out of luck, right? And so I want to really promote the people that did show up and have audience. That way we can get feedback from you as well. Go check out appmarketingguide.com. And Darius's podcast is going to come up. We talk a lot about TikTok. We talk all about different. It was just so awesome and shared a lot of different tactics. So I can't wait to share that with you as well. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast at masters.com/iTunes. We'll be on Spotify as well soon. Darius, thank you so much for coming on doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a blast.
Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. All right. See ya.
Bye.